Hi everyone, my name is Maddie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. The topic I want to talk about today is one I've wanted to talk about for a little while now, even though I've only been doing booktube for a couple of weeks, and it was actually requested on my last video, so I thought now would be the perfect time to do it. And that is tips for sort of starting up a Bookstagram, or a bookish Instagram for anyone that doesn't know what that means. Starting a Bookstagram was really what kickstarted me getting involved in the bookish internet community, because I did have a book blog and I still have a book blog, but that's never really taken off, but that's alright. But doing my Bookstagram and getting some recognition on there was what really encouraged me, and now I've started a booktube and I'm just absolutely loving being involved. I started my Bookstagram just over 2 months ago, and username is @bookbrowsingblog, which is exactly the same as my username here, and the link can be found in the description for anyone who's interested. And I started it on the 2nd of April 2018, so almost exactly 2 months ago at this point. And I remember when I started, I set myself the goal of 500 followers by approximately 2 months. And here I am, 2 months on, and I'm on over 1,700 followers, which I never could have seen coming. And yes, that's a lot smaller than so many of these amazing accounts out there, but honestly, it's just fantastic and it's been so exciting to see it grow. Now, I'm not going to say there is some 1, 2, 3 method to suddenly make it big on Bookstagram, and I'm also not going to lie that I have been extremely lucky to grow as quickly as I have. I know so many accounts who have absolutely beautiful photos and absolutely lovely people. They've grown a lot slower, and I think I have just been incredibly lucky. But of course I'll give you a few pointers as to what I've done, and maybe it'll work for you as well. Now, my absolute top piece of advice will be to make sure you are producing and putting out content that you are genuinely proud of. If you put out stuff that you genuinely think is the best you can do and you love it, people will take notice of that and they'll follow you and interact with you, and it just generally creates a much more positive atmosphere in the Bookstagram community. People will always love and appreciate hard work and commitment, possibly more so than necessarily the best quality photos taken on the fanciest camera. And that's something you really need to remember. Just produce the best content you can and love it, and it will end up going well for you. The next piece of advice I would give is definitely don't feel pressured that you need some professional standard equipment like a fancy camera or editing software. I personally do use a DSLR camera, but that is simply because I've done photography for many years and had an interest in it for a long time. So I already had a camera that I like and know how to use, so I continued using it when I started my Bookstagram. However, with editing, I just use VSCOcam on my phone, and it's completely free and it's so good, and I don't use anything else like Photoshop or Lightroom, and honestly it works fine for me. Also, I know a lot of accounts that take photos using their phones, and they create these stunning photos. Personally, my phone camera just doesn't really work and I can never seem to create anything good from it. But don't rule it out. Basically, if you have a mobile phone of any level, you could start a Bookstagram and take some amazing photos. And again, if you're producing content you like, it's worth doing. The next piece of advice would be to post regularly once you've started. It doesn't have to be often, just kind of regular. So if you're doing twice a week, maybe try and post on the same days or something like that. Because it seems to be a thing across all social media that the algorithms very much favour people who post at a similar time of day or a similar day of the week often. When I started, I did post a lot. I was posting 3 photos every single day for the first couple of weeks. And I'm not going to lie, I think that did kickstart my account and really got people interested because there was so much content being produced. But also, that's not necessary. That's just the way I did it because I got far too obsessed with taking photos and just didn't want to stop doing it. Along the lines of trying to post content regularly, just something I would suggest, but I know a lot of people who don't do this and it works fine for them, is to try and take a few photos at once so you have some stored ready. I personally do a photo shoot maybe once or twice a week, if not less often, and I'll take possibly even 20 or 30 photos, meaning that it can then, over the next few weeks, I can post them slowly, meaning if there's a day when I suddenly don't have time to do a photo shoot, I don't have to stress about it, I can just push it back a day and it will have photos in reserve in case. Whereas if you're taking the photo just before you need to post it and you have a block or you can't decide what you want to take a photo of, it can result in missing a post, which really is not the end of the world, but if it can be avoided, that's always a positive. Now, as I already said, when I got started, I was posting extremely frequently at 3 times a day. But more so than that, I was interacting so much with other accounts. I would like and comment on every single photo I came across. I would follow a lot of people, not with a view to unfollowing later, but just to connect with people and get to know people in the community. And when you get a little group of people you get to know, it can really help boost you because you help each other out, you advertise each other's accounts. and it really, really does make a difference getting in with a few groups like that. Another thing I would really take advantage of is definitely the stories on Instagram. These can be such a good tool to get yourself known as a person as well as an account. Obviously they're really useful shout-outs, which I'll get to later, but just share what you're reading, what you think about it. If you're crying over a TV show or a book, share it, and just people will relate and they will chat to you, and if you can get into that community, it's really just a wonderful thing. Now, shout-outs. These are definitely one of the absolute best ways to get yourself out there. A lot of accounts, both big and small, will run shout out for shout out sessions. Either they'll put a post up on their feed saying, I'm running this session, follow these rules and I will shout out your account, or they might do a quick 24-hour one in their stories. And these are fantastic. Basically the rules normally are along the lines of follow the other account, shout out their feed, and in return they will shout you out. And honestly, these are just fantastic. You can end up getting shouted out by 10 to 20 accounts in a day if you really do find them and commit to them. Yes, you might potentially annoy people in your stories if you're posting too often, but sometimes it's worth it. And I think this is what really helped launch my account, is because I got so involved with all of these and I entered every single one I came across. And to be honest, I still do. And they really, really, really do help. Another thing for shoutouts is to run a shoutout for shoutout. I think I hosted my first one when I had about 100 followers, if not even that. And I had about 25 people take part, and that's 25 people straight away who've discovered your account, and there'll probably be more from that. And all you do is you say, I'm hosting, tag a few people who would be interested. All of those people are then going to come and check out your account, and honestly, it can make all the difference. Just being active in the community and chatting to people, taking part in all these things, it really, really helps boost your account. I briefly mentioned earlier interacting with other accounts, and honestly this is so crucial to growing your account. If you see a post you like on it, comment, try and connect with that creator, and honestly it will really help because they'll see that comment, they'll check out your account, they might like and comment on yours, and if you can generate some likes and comments either from a group of friends or from other creators who like your content, it will help boost you and pass by the stupid algorithm which limits smaller creators. Another slightly smaller aspect which can still be really helpful is doing tags in your posts. There are often these tags circulating of, I'm trying to think of some I've done recently, there's a rainbow book tag where it lists the colours and a category for each colour and you name a book which fits that category. There's all sorts, there are hundreds of these things circulating, but don't feel like you have to be tagged in them to do them. If you see one and you think it looks interesting, do it and tag 10, 20 people in your post to do it then. But don't just tag people you know really well personally, and don't fall into the trap of always tagging the first 20 people, as I have done multiple times and annoyed many people when I tag them twice a day in photos. But it can be really beneficial because if you tag someone who you've spoken to once or twice but don't know that well, it will remind them that your account is there and they'll check you out, and it starts getting your name out there more and more. But honestly, I think the most important thing to remember is that every single person in the Bookstagram community is lovely and they all support each other and they will support you when you're getting started. Just reach out, reply to their stories if they're reading a book you've heard of and want to hear more about, or they're watching a random film which you think, oh, that looks interesting, I wonder what it is. Reach out and people will reply to you, and you can build such an amazing community and group of friends. Like, I have people on Bookstagram who I now speak to every single day as close friends, which I never would have seen happening 2 months ago. And it is absolutely fantastic, and make the most of it. Hopefully your account will grow, but if it doesn't, that's not the main focus of Bookstagram. It's very much the community and us all enjoying it and getting far too obsessed about books altogether. But yeah, give it a go. I wussed out of creating my Bookstagram for so long. I've been considering it for about 6 months until I did it. And then I saw someone on a book blog who I followed on Bookstagram talking about it, and so I sent them a message on my personal Instagram and I was like, do you think I should give this a go? And they said yes, and here I am. Just give it a go. It is worth doing, and it is honestly the most fun. So that is pretty much all I have to say. If anyone has any questions about where to get started or wants any help with anything, either leave me a comment here or message me on my Bookstagram. As I said, the link is in the description. I will happily reply and help anyone out. I think it's just such a fantastic community. But closing remarks, definitely just do it. have fun. You will have the best time if you just give it a go. Interact with other accounts, create content you love and have fun doing it, and it's one of the best experiences you will ever have.